Hello, dear students, and welcome back to i-nastava. My name is Ajlin, and our topic today, great geographical discoveries. So let's start. In this lesson, you will be listening to some texts about America, and you will be expressing your opinions and writing an interesting essay. For this lesson, you need a pen or a pencil, a notebook, internet access, and you can stop the recording anytime you need. So let's start. In this lesson, we will be traveling through time, but this time to the past. Imagine you can get in your DeLorean and go any place you like back in time. Where would you like to go? Stop this recording for a moment and think, which period in history would you like to visit? Would it be interesting to go to ancient Egypt, perhaps, to see how pyramids were built or how pharaohs used to live? Or maybe you would like to visit the Romans. You would like to travel to the time of the Roman Empire. How about going back to the time of Henry VIII to meet his 6 wives, or when America was discovered? How about that? You probably guessed. Our journey today is going to take us to the time of great discoveries, to the age of great discoveries. That is a time when Europeans began exploring the world by sea in search of new trading routes, wealth, and knowledge. It all began in the early 15th century and lasted through the 17th century. And that was the time when Americas were discovered and when some other parts of the world also became known to the Europeans. But why all of a sudden in the 15th century they decided to find new trading routes? They were trading mostly with Asia, India, China. Why did they need new traveling routes? They could go through Constantinople and the Black Sea and come to Asia. Well, that is the problem. If you look at this map, that the darker part is the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century, and the Ottoman Empire took control of Constantinople in 1453, and by doing so blocked European access to that area and limited its trade. In addition, it also blocked access to North Africa and the Red Sea, and those were two very important trade routes to the Far East. The new sea routes had to be found, and since the Portuguese and the Spanish were highly experienced seafaring people, they were the first who started exploring. The Portuguese were opening new sea routes along Africa, and the Spanish dreamed of finding new trade routes to the Far East. That was the age of the great explorers, and the most famous of them was Christopher Columbus. We are now going to do a quiz, and you can check your knowledge that you learned in your geography or history lessons about great geographical discoveries. And this is our quiz. The quiz on the discovery of America. So, what nationality was Christopher Columbus? Italian, Spanish, or German? And the correct answer is Italian. He was an Italian working for the Spanish monarchy. Which country did he want to sail to? India, America, or Africa? And the correct answer is India. He wanted to find a shorter route to India. Question number 3. Which island or group of islands did he discover? The Virgin Islands, the Bahamas, the Caribbean. And the correct answer is the Bahamas. Columbus found the island of San Salvador in what is known today as the Bahamas. Question number 4. Who were the indigenous peoples of the Americas? The Indians, the Aboriginals, the Aztecs. And the correct answer is the Aztecs. The Aztecs of Mexico and the Incas of Peru were the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Question number 5. Which of these things were brought from America back to Europe? Tea, peanuts, bananas. And the correct answer is peanuts. Corn, sweet potatoes, and peanuts were brought to Europe from America. Question number 6. Which animals were unknown to the Europeans? Geese, chickens, turkeys. And the correct answer is turkeys. Turkeys, llamas, or squirrels were unknown to the Europeans before setting foot in the Americas. Question number 7. What did Europeans bring to America? Sugarcane, tomatoes, cotton. And the correct answer is sugarcane. The Europeans brought guns, iron tools and weapons, sugarcane and wheat, horses and cattle to America. Why is America called America and not Colombia? A. Because Amerigo Vespucci was the first who discovered it. Because Amerigo Vespucci named it after himself. Because Amerigo Vespucci was the first who realized that it was a new continent. And the correct answer is C. Amerigo Vespucci realized that Columbus had not landed in India, but on a new continent. As we have seen in the quiz, there was lots of exchange between America and Europe. Europeans brought lots of bad things to America, like diseases, but also brought lots of good things. And this video here under this link, European American Cultural Contributions, tells you more about that. After that, there is going to be a comprehension check, so watch the video carefully. This word to originate in means to come from, may be useful to you while watching the film. So stop the recording now and watch the short video. Let's now check your comprehension. What sport was brought from Europe to America? Just one word is enough, and that sport is baseball. What American tradition derives its origin from Europe? Just one word. Celebrations or Thanksgiving. Where does the sculpture of Mount Rushmore come from? Denmark. Question number 4. Which nationality was the painter of George Washington on the US dollar bill? So which nationality was he? One word. Scottish. Where did ballet originate in? Which country? One word. Italy. And where did hamburger come from? One word. Germany. Talking about great geographical discoveries would be incomplete without mentioning Christopher Columbus. On October the 12th, his day is celebrated in America. While some people think that he was a true hero, the one who discovered America, others disagree and consider him to be a villain. Under this link in blue, there is a short film that represents both points of view. Your task is to note them, to see if he was a hero or a villain. There are two words that you may not know. So they are written here: to mutilate, which means to inflict a violent and disfiguring injury, and to delve into, which means to investigate. So stop the recording now, but don't yet go to this link. On the next slide, you will see what your task is. And this is your task. You have to copy this chart, and while listening, you have to write down notes about him being a hero or those that suggest that he was a villain. So stop the recording now and do the task. And this is what you should have noted. Those who claim that he was a hero say that he was the one who did discover Americas. Those against say that people were already living there and that the Vikings had been there 500 years before. Those who claim that he is a hero say that he inspired other explorers to come. Others disagree and say that he enslaved the natives. He stopped the wars among the natives, they say. Others disagree and claim that he actually wiped out 90% of the population. He inspired poor people in Europe to come. He gave them hope. Others say that he actually forced Native Americans into reservations in order to make room for the newcomers. Those who claim that he is a hero say that he can't be judged by modern standards because at that time spreading of Christianity and civilization was a moral duty. Those who disagree claim that he is bad even by old standards because he tortured natives who didn't bring him enough gold. He sold girls into sexual slavery and his only aim was to get rich. Let's now open our mind to the idea of time traveling. If time traveling is possible, then there should be time travelers. And if there are time travelers among us, we can imagine that they have always been around. It could be them who caused or provoked certain things in our history. Maybe they wanted to change them for better, and then they turned out to be for worse. So is it too far-fetched to say that time travelers were those who inspired great geographical discoveries, who inspired Columbus, Vespucci, and other explorers to go to far worlds and to discover them? Were these time travelers involved in some way? Stop this recording for a moment and think about it. Far-fetched means unlikely and assumption belief. So please think a little bit about that. Remember, when we started with this lesson, that I asked you a question: if you would like to go back in time to the time of Egyptians or Romans or medieval England, or to the time of the great discoveries. But would you really like to travel back? Because not everybody could be a conquistador. Imagine you ended up being a Native American, enslaved, raped, or maybe dying from some disease brought by the newcomers. So would you really like to travel back? Stop the recording for a moment and think about it. If you are very adventurous, maybe you would like to go back in time. Imagine you had the power to change the course of history. Jump in your travel machine and go back to the time when Columbus came to America. Help the Native Americans survive the diseases and slavery. Think of the things you could do to help them, and think how that would change the world, because whenever there is an intervention in the past, there are consequences in the present. Here are some hints. You could, for example, destroy his ships so he could not come back to Europe, or you could vaccinate Native Americans so they wouldn't get sick, and so on. Surely you can think of many more ways of helping the natives. And this exactly is your homework. Put together a plan of helping the indigenous population of America survive the encounter with Columbus and his conquistadors. Use some of the tools from Office 365 to display it and record your voice. Explain your plan along with the options. What would happen if you did something or if you didn't do something? For example, I would vaccinate the population. If I didn't do that, they might, but by vaccinating them, I would prevent, and so on. Send your plan and your recording to your teacher. This rubric may help you write your plan and explain it. You should describe at least 3 ways of helping the indigenous population and the consequences that could change the course of history. Pay attention to your grammar and vocabulary. We have now come almost to the end of our lesson today. If you have watched the videos and completed the tasks related to them, if you have done the quiz, expressed your opinion, and designed a plan of helping the indigenous population of America, tick the smiling smiley. If you haven't, go back to the part that you haven't done and do it again. I hope that you enjoyed learning English with me today and that you have learned something new. Until we meet again, bye everybody.